Got that.
So Tony, tell me about how you came to love jazz music and play instruments. Give us some information about how you came to that.
Well, I think it kind of stems from probably the age of 5, when my parents, 4 or 5, when my parents had a lot of jazz records and they used to put them on and we used to listen, and and dance to them. And I didn't know it was jazz, but I just liked that kind of music, you know. She had like Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, you know, Count Basie, all those, you know, records, and Nat King Cole, and I just really liked them, you know. And I didn't do nothing about it in terms of learning an instrument. It wasn't until I was about 16, 17 that I picked up an instrument.
By the time you started to play at around 16, you must have listened to a great deal of music. Who would you say your main influences are then in your early career?
Well, I mean, to start with, you know, I didn't really go deeply into jazz from the start. You know, it was, you know, I started hearing things from what my brothers used to play, like Earth, Wind and Fire, and, you know, Stevie Wonder and people like that. And then I think one day, one of my brother's friends bought some Grover Washington Jr. So that really kind of like turned me on, just kind of like listening to more, you know, intently in that kind of genre of music. And then it wasn't until I reached my 16th birthday that I really started listening to like the records again that my parents had, you know, and realized that they had some Charlie Parker in there as well, you know, and that kind of, wow, you know, it was an amazing sound. I was like, how does he do that? And at that time, I hadn't even picked up the saxophone, so. My first performances was with my younger brother. We used to practice together in the bedroom, you know, practice songs, and he'd learn some jazz and I'd learn some, you know, I'd learn some Barry Manilow tunes and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Barry Manilow?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're going for the safety shot there. Early casting. Excellent. So at the moment you've got your own band, and
Yes.
I'm going to get you to describe that to me in a moment, and who plays in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that you're involved in many projects.
I am, yes.
And you have a really high profile in terms of those projects. And I'm going to get you to talk a bit about that as well. But first off, if you tell us about the band that you formed and lead, and tell us about who's in that and the type of music you're playing there.
Right, the band that I formed consists of these musicians: Jonathan G, Winston Clifford, and Ben Hazelton. Jonathan G plays piano, Winston Clifford drums, Ben Hazelton double bass. We really got together through Monk, funny enough. The music of Monk, that's what brought us together. But I met Jonathan before those guys, and we started to like play Monk, and we was looking for other people to kind of like join us to play, you know, kind of study this music, this wonderful music. And we tried a few people, didn't work, and we kind of came to Winston, who I'd known actually when I first moved to London in '91, and we got Ben, and we found that playing together we had such a rapport. We had such a rapport that I was very adamant to keep those musicians together. And even now, when I have to dep one of those guys out, it doesn't feel right. The only time it feels like I'm really home with this music, whether it's my music or music of Thelonious Monk or standards, is when I'm playing with these guys. So it's definitely my quartet.
I'm going to talk a bit now about the Crypt and your association with the club here. Do you remember when you did your first gig for us?
You know, vaguely. You know, I remember meeting you, and I remember coming here before we even played. And is it my move or yours?
Oh, did we?
No, because you moved there.
All right, okay.
So
I'm just trying to see if I can sneak one in.
See, I'm still thinking. Yeah, I do remember that actually, and I remember coming down here and thinking, wow, because I think this was the first time I've ever played in a crypt. You know,
okay.
I've never ever played in a crypt. You know, let alone been in one. I don't think. And I came here, I thought, wow, you know, it's this kind of eerie, but you know, it's got a vibe to it. You know, I like the way it was like low ceiling, it was dark, and I tried out the acoustics, and I thought, this is wonderful. And yeah, I thought it was a great idea, you know, and coming here with Byron and I think Larry and Trevor, and yeah, it was great. I think one time we did a concert here with the late Clifford Jarvis.
You did, indeed.
Remember we did the Hubtone sessions.
Yes.
Yeah, and
that was an amazing gig, actually.
he cried. He actually cried because he said he's not played that music since he recorded with Freddie Hubbard.
What do you think about the audience? Are you impressed with the audience we get together here on Friday nights?
Oh gosh, the audience here are great. I think they're amazing, and I like the fact that they're really close to you. You know, it's like in close proximity, and they can, you know, they can hear you breathing, and they can almost like they're in there with you. You know, they become a part of you. You know, and it's like there's been a number of times when I've been here and I'm playing, and I can feed off the audience. You know, when I'm improvising, I can look at someone in the audience and I can see that they're taken back and they're giving me something. You know, energy is amazing, you know, and they're giving me energy and I'm giving it back, and it's all give and take, you know. Good move.
That's the Bishop's move.
That's the Bishop's move.
Which reminds me, I'm going to get you to talk a bit about your new album. I know there's a track on there called Bishop's Move.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me a bit about that? And how you came to write that tune?
Bishop's Move, yes. Bishop's Move was written over a decade ago. And I remember sitting right here with you and playing a game of chess. And I don't know what I was doing, well, I knew what I was doing, but I did a move with the bishop and I thought, I've got him. I've absolutely got him. And you just wiped the board with me, basically. You know, and I never forgot that. And I was a little in tongue in cheek, a little upset, but I was like, can't believe he got me on the bishop, you know, the bishop moving like that. So I wrote a composition entitled The Bishop's Move, you know, and it was all based on a game of chess, you know, and when I do concerts, you know, all over, you know, I was in America in June, in New York, and, you know, I'm going to Europe, and I played all over the UK, and I always tell people about this tune, because they always ask me, why Bishop's Move? I said, because it was written over a game of chess with you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I feel privileged now that you've written a tune about it. And so that's on your new album?
That's on my new album, The Silent Truth.
And that's which label's that on? Remind me.
Specific Jazz. Yes.
Excellent. And I think we're going to hear imminently a little bit of some solos from that
Yes,
album.
Definitely. Yes. Wow, this game.
Should we just call it a stalemate for now then?
Let's call it a
draw.
stalemate.
Yeah.
Take a mental picture.
Yeah,
because we could carry this game on.
Yeah, we'll put it on the internet.
I think so.
Something like that.
Yes, yes. Especially these positions. Let's keep these positions, because this game could last, I don't know,
Months.
months.
It could. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Thank you.